Evening all, and welcome to episode 46 of Kerbalism. Now, several days have passed since we returned from this to the station, and pretty much every experiment that was on there has been transmitted back to the KSC here, and that's allowed us to unlock some new and wonderful things. New things that allow us to build things like this. This is a space plane. It's our space taxi, essentially. The first space plane I've built in this series so far. It's not an SSTO. It's not. We haven't unlocked the technology for that yet. I don't think with the engines I have, I could get to orbit from the runway. But the first thing you notice about it is that it's not using any parts you may recognise. That's because it's from a new mod. I have included OTP spaceplane parts. It's a mod pack that does exactly what it says on the tin. Adds spaceplane parts to the game. I tried to build one using the Mark II stuff that I just unlocked, because that was the new stuff that's been done. But it didn't really work. I couldn't get one that actually worked for oh, Valentina, what are you doing? I couldn't get one that worked for getting all the Kerbals back in one sort of go, which is what I've been trying to do here. Bring this back up here to do it, and get back inside, shall we? Board, there we are. Yes, it's that was Lisa, sorry, not Valentina, my mistake. Yeah, the Mark II system, I couldn't get one that would let me transfer 7 Kerbals at once that wasn't very long, very thin, and very unstable. It would do all sorts of weird things. So I had a look around, found these lots of recommendations for space planes using this mod, so I grabbed it, and let me show you just how this works. Now, this hasn't really got any wings to it. As you can see, it's got these little ones on top here and the bottom ones there, but the main thing about it is that the lifting body of the main parts for this, they're fantastic, really fantastic. This thing flies very well. It doesn't glide very well, I'll be honest with you. Without the engine power behind it, it's not a brilliant glider. It's got a lot of authority, a lot of ability to turn around and do the things it needs with the engines. The great thing about it is that they're in the crew cabin here. There's some air intakes built into it, so I haven't got to add any air intakes for these what are they? The Panther engines, because that's sort of the highest technology plane engine I have at the moment. So yeah, the idea is to strap this to the top of a rocket and launch it up with a whole new crew on board. We can dock it to the station because we have a deployable docking port here. And we can transfer the Kerbals from the station to it, and from it to the station, and then bring them all successfully home. I have done some testing in a separate save with this craft, because I wasn't really confident that this thing could survive re-entry. But it does. It gets very hot. It does have some issues with things burning up and going a bit wrong if you get your angle of attack wrong on it. But overall, it actually does a pretty good job of getting to where it needs to go. The only thing I think I need to add to it is some RCS. I've got one there and none on the other side. So that's going to have been modified. But yeah, overall, this is actually quite amazed by this. Not brakes, or gear, that's the one. We're coming for a very bad landing. Generally, most landings I've had so far have been on water, and when the fuel tanks are empty, actually lands pretty softly, doesn't blow up. Had an issue with tail striking the ground on liftoff. That's why I put a little wheel here. That's a fantastic little thing. A little tiny wheel there means that when it hits the ground, that wheel bounces and stops you losing your engines. So yeah, wonderful trick. But let's bring this into land quickly, and then we can go back back in and try and attach a rocket to it, but most importantly, hire some more crew for the station. I have had a warning that Jeb and Kerndred, I believe, are now suffering from radiation problems, so they need to come back down pretty quickish, I think, and get a bit of rest and relaxation in. So yeah, I think bring them home is the ideal thing to do. There we are, down on the ground, nice and easy. It's pretty stable, it flies well, particularly below about 2 kilometers where the atmosphere is thick. These little wings grab quite well, so yeah, quite impressed with that, the OTP spaceplane parts. So right, let's go and recruit some more Kerbal, shall we? That should be our first port of call. And here we are in the astronaut complex. Now, the first thing is that although I have the ability to send, I think, 10 Kerbals in one go, that taxi can do, I'm not going to for 2 reasons. One, Kerbals are expensive, 108,000 to hire the next one, and 2, we're only allowed 12 of them, so I could only hire another 5. Yeah, so yeah, we've got obviously our people assigned to the station here, 5 up there, and 2 down here on the planet. So we've got 2 pilots, so I don't need to send any more of them up. We need scientists. The science lab can have 2 Kerbals in it, I believe. So I think I'll send 2 scientists up and another engineer, just to get them a bit more experience. At starting level, they can't actually repair anything, I don't believe. I'm not entirely sure about that, but yeah, I think we'll grab 2 scientists and an engineer and send them up there on their way. I'm trying to remember how these stats work. I remember the lower the stupidity, the better. So that's what we want to look at here. Eliana, you are our first new scientist. Welcome to the program. And are we going to go with Guras or Gilfia? I think Gilfia is going to join us there. There you are. Welcome along. And now we need an engineer. Again, one that isn't high stupidity, because they affect the building of rocket parts. However, they're all stupidly high, which apart from Brett Kerman, yeah, they're all I think I'm going to leave the engineer just for the minute. There is one last bit of science to transmit back from the station. I remember it was about halfway done, so I'll let that transmit back, and then I'll come back to here and see whether any of these have, see if we've got some new applicants, because no, these ones are a bit, well, stupid. And here we are on the launch pad with our wings sticking out, which is, I hope it's not going to be a problem. But yes, I waited for the science to be transmitted from the station, went back to the astronaut complex, and nothing had changed. So I've decided to just launch with Lisa, Valentina, Eliana, and Gilfia, our new recruits. We can send an engineer up later if we ever need to. We've got time for things, so yeah. Let's give this a try, shall we? And see if we can get anywhere. The station is pretty much overhead. It's just approaching there. I'm going to enable gravity turn. Change that to 250 because that's where our station is. And An improve guest button there. Why do I keep changing that number? That word. I've not launched this before, so I don't know. I did think you would ever got an improved guest if you'd launched it before, but no. Anyway, let's launch it and see what happens, shall we? So here we are at the station. The first thing I've noticed is that my frame rate has dropped absolutely through the floor. I'm getting terrible stutters, so I don't quite know how this is going to show on the video, so I apologise if it goes a little wrong. I have looked into some ways to try and speed the station up. It's all to do with part count. It's got a very high part count on it, so therefore the game is loading obviously the textures for each thing. Each one of these is a separate texture and it's got separate physics to it and everything. It's terrible. So there is a mod that allows you to weld parts together, so I can make all those one item and all of those one object. So they would still perform the same way, but be just one object, which is fine for things like this or these tanks at the bottom. I could do that. But it's only really good for in the VAB, or you put your parts together, you weld them together, you get a new part which is all these parts welded together, which isn't any good for a station that I've already got launched, unless I can find a way to maybe build it on there and edit it up into here. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's dock with this, shall we? Providing, of course, I can get access to the bits I need. So let's open the docking port up, and I think we shall dock with that one there. I'm not going to go down to the ones at the bottom. I probably could squeeze this in there, but I don't want to for now. I want to leave it as it is. I can pull from here as well. There we are. So we'll roll ourselves over. And head on down using the RCS. And hopefully, if the magnets will take over, we would get a dock. Not quite having it at the moment. It's extremely laggy, is probably not helping things. There we are. There we are. We are docked. The relief crew is here. So now all we need to do is transfer all the Kerbals off of here into there, and from here into here, and I think that's it. Bill and Bob were the last ones to be on board. Yeah, that's all them. So Milmer, Kundred, Bill, Bob and Jeb are in the ship, and I guess it's a short stay. It's a very short stay. I think they're fine for fuel and bits and pieces. Where is the fuel? It's in that tank there and that one there. Yes, I did turn off. I dropped the Oxstar out to the centre docking port and had the liquid fuel locked off. I wasn't sure how much I was going to use, and I wanted to save some for getting back in the atmosphere for those panthers. But it looks like we're good. So yeah, didn't need that in the end. Anyhow, let's undock. And we shall firstly transfer our scientists where they need to go. Something odd is going on here. Cancel that. Okay, so let's try that again, shall we? Transfer Valentina to there. And then that was the wrong person to transfer. Oh dear. Transfer Valentina to the hitchhiker. There we are. Right, and Elena can go in there. And then Lisa, you can also come up to there. There we are. Right. So that's all done, and these two can get going. Rocket parts are inactive, but we are working on processing all this here. I'm hoping 2 scientists can do it quicker. I don't actually know whether you need 2 or 3 or whatever. It doesn't really say. The productivity is at 0 because that's for the rocket parts. That's not for actual science. So yeah, the lab is enabled. We'll leave them to that, and we shall bring our space taxi back home again. Now, normally I edit this part out. I don't really show the re-entries or launches or anything anymore, but seeing as this is a space plane, and it's going to be the first time I'm actually relaunching, or first time I'm re-entering with important Kerbals on board, I think it deserves at least a sped up re-entry, shall we say that. So right, let's re-enable this engine. Activate. Let's wait till we're clear of the station and fire it to rejoin. I'm going to try and land it at the KSC. I just don't know how successful that's going to be. Apparently you need to wait till you're on the opposite side of the planet to it. So right, I will go around until we're on the opposite sides of the KSC, and I will deorbit this, and as we're coming in I shall restart the video, and you can watch and see whether we get everyone home or whether we crash and burn in fiery death. And so we begin our fiery descent after dropping the periapsis down to about 50k. The way you're supposed to bring a space plane in is when you're on the opposite side of the KSC, you drop your periaps to within the atmosphere. So I dropped it to 50, maybe a bit more than that was needed, but you drop it down, and then as you come around you keep a decent angle of attack, which means keeping your nose up higher than the way you're going, than your prograde, and that uses the body of the craft to slow down. However, I get it slightly wrong and end up bouncing off the atmosphere. I completely overshoot the KSC. I go back up to almost back into space again, and have to make another trip around, this time with a bit slightly higher angle of attack. I tried keeping the nose a bit higher. Was very stable, very stable. Did have a heating problem though. The brakes at the rear and the forward RCS ports, if memory serves, were a bit toasty by the time we got in, but it made it nonetheless. We managed to actually get into the atmosphere and slow down enough to not be on fire, which is always a good thing. Then I discovered we were coming down over water. I thought maybe maybe coming down on the land would be a slightly better idea. So I fired up some of the engines, fired up the jet engines that we've got there, and well, brought ourselves in so we were just over the top of the land. Not a very flat land, but well, it's land nonetheless, so let's go in for a landing and see what happens. Well, we're down, but yeah, the landing did not go according to plan. It was rough ground. I came down a bit hard, I think. More importantly, I came down with a lot more fuel on board than I had ever tested with. I'd always emptied it out and just left the monoprop in here, so yeah, she was obviously a lot heavier than I expected, but well, she's down. Our Kerbals have returned. They can go and get treated for their radiation issues, and all is well. That is, if it would stop sliding. And here we are. We've gathered no science. We've returned 25,000 funds to us. Would have got a lot more if we landed here, but obviously I overshot that. So next time we shall do a bit harder there. And none of our people actually gained any experience, which is not surprising, to be honest with you. The ones that went to Mimus had already gone, and Milmer and Kundred, who probably could have done with going to the surface, never did. But oh well, they're back. That's the important point. They can recover from their issues and hopefully be sent up on some more missions. But the station has more science on board, and I want to unlock that. So I think, seeing as we've got some new scientists up there, they can go round and round for a little while, and we'll be back once all the science they have is down here, and we'll see what new wonderful things we can unlock. It has been 3 weeks, I believe. No, it's been more than 3 weeks. Sorry, I'm misrepresenting. It's been 44 days since the last part of this video. I have been basically accelerating time, waiting for the station to do all of its samples. It's done a lot. It's transmitted loads of data back. We have nearly 1,000 science, but our MOHO probe is actually ready to do its manoeuvre. So let's go to that and see what we've got to do here. And it's still got its manoeuvre there. Okay, so the first thing that worries me is, does this still have connection with Kerbal? And it does. Yes, it does. There it is. It's still got a connection there. So we need to do the manoeuvre, which is a long burn. Good 68-second burn. Line ourselves up here. This, of course, is our manoeuvre halfway along to actually get an encounter with MOHO. Because MOHO's on a different inclination, it's a bit squiff to the rest of the planets, we've got to change it so that we meet it as it's coming up. Hopefully, that's the idea. And I'm kind of hoping it's still going to be there when we do this. So, yeah, let's warp forward to our next manoeuvre. There we go, warp to next manoeuvre. We'll execute this one and then see what minor changes we've got to do to actually get an encounter with MOHO over there. And there we have it. After a second time maneuver and using pretty much all of the fuel, we've only got a little tiny bit left. We are going to get 2.8 million meters away from Moho. We will have an encounter, we'll get into his atmosphere, his sphere of influence, and I'll probably burn the rest of the fuel off there to try and slow us down to maybe get a bit closer to it. I'm not sure yet, but the main thing I'm worried about is that when this gets to here, Kerbal's going to be maybe here, and I'm not sure if that is long enough. That's if that's too far for the antenna. I didn't really think about it when I launched this. I just saw the window coming up and put it together what we had and launched it. So yeah, we'll have to hope a little bit for that one. Yeah, it's on its way to Moho. Our next alarm is in 61 days for our Sentinel satellite, but hopefully the science, all the science on the station will be done by then. And here we are, the last bits of science come in from the station. It's been another almost 10 days, I think, so it takes a long time to process data, but it was worth it. We've got 1,067 science, which does mean we could unlock the drills. The drills that I've been waiting for quite a while, in order to build the moon base or Minmus base. I'm edging now towards the moon rather than Minmus, purely because of the water resource on Minmus is well, there is none. There's no water up there, so I'd like to try and build something that's self-sufficient. However, we can't actually unlock this tier yet. We need to upgrade the science lab, or the research center, but that costs 1.69 million credits. We do not have that sort of money. Nowhere near that sort of money. I've never been very good at this money thing. I seem to be losing it loads. So I think for the next episode it's going to be a couple of contracts. I'll have a look and see what we can do, what we've got, what's accessible. The other thing I'm thinking of doing is sort of rebuilding the station. Not actually rebuilding the station, but remaking the station using part welding so that it's made up of more solid parts, and then basically replacing the one that's in orbit with that file. You can do save file editing to do things. I know it's a bit cheaty, but I wouldn't be changing anything on the station. It would pretty much remain exactly the same, but it would lower the part count and it would make the game run smoother. So I think in that case, a little bit of cheating may be forgiven. I don't know. Let me know what you think on that one. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you again in the next one. And until then, as always, have fun.